Sometimes the bomb might explode without any warning. Sometimes the bomb might explode without any warning. Sometimes the bomb might explode without any warning. Sometimes the bomb might explode without any warning.
Tough. pretty baby, what's your name? What's your number? I'm about to talk to you. Get your phone ready. So you say you're looking for a real man who can take you out to see other lands, other lands. Somebody who can feed you lobster and shrimp every day of the week.
Let's go.
'Cause the bread is thick and money is no ish when you're filthy rich.
Oh, no. Okay. He says something in that song that your boy cannot advertise. What's up, Cashin Familia? It's your boy. Back again. And boy, do we have an episode for you. Last week, Halloween episode, it got real spooky in here. Real spooky. And we're back here to get real rich on Cashin with Cam. If you fade me, okay? It's been a tough season. It's been a tough year for your boy. But this is the week we're so due. It's unbelievable. Can everyone hear me? I muted my mic there for a bit. Yeah, it's going. It's going. Let's go. Jake, what's happening? E-Dog, let's go. Roarksky, what's up, fam? Hag, how we doing? T-Bake is fired up. Took a hiatus from the books, but we are back better than ever. I concur, my good friend. McCurlster, what's going on, brother? And Mulvey is here as well, along with several others of you. Fire it up in the chat if you are ready to cash today. Oh, God. Electric. Just electric in here today. Fellas, ladies, what's happening? How's everybody's week going? Give me a money bag in the chat if you're having a good week. Your boy is just living this week. And I believe we have an all-time ranking to go over with you today. If you haven't already and you're on, like the video. Let's go, Mo. I'm glad you're here. Like the video. Dennis Allen is toast. Dennis Allen is gone. No more just awful game planning. Now, was the whole team hurt? Yes. The whole team was hurt, but God, were they bad. And they were hard to watch. Derek Carr, his eyeliner starting to trickle down his face. Big dub for the Saints to get rid of that guy, Dennis Allen. If we can only ditch Carr next, your boy would be a happy man. Little thing ski happened yesterday. Yeah, I see some folks are happy about it. Not to get political, but a pretty resounding win in the election. And we'll see what it does for the betting account. I could only hope it will increase it in some way. Not to get political, but that is a great segue into the rankings. All right. Thinking about the rankings this week, it was approximately 7:30 when I came up with them. But you know what? I feel like during these contentious times we live, election year, post-election day, we draw a lot of assumptions about others, about ourselves. Palmer for the new Saints coach, yes. Man, Pops would be in the stands every game if she got the NFL head coaching money, you feel me? But yeah, that Instagram post did really well in the polls. But yeah, just drawing assumptions about people. I found that when I was standing in line to vote yesterday. You assume this about this one guy. You assume this about this one gal. We make assumptions, right? Who are they voting for? What do they believe in? Who are they under their facade? Not to get deep on Cashin. So I started to think, what can my rankings be? Where are we gonna? Where are we at in this country? Where are we at in this day and age? And we're drawing assumptions. Okay, so this week for the rankings, I've got, and some of you are asking, where is he going? I don't know where I'm going. All I know is, this is the rankings this week. What a terrible segue. We've got the 5 worst assumptions ranking. That's right. We're at the bottom of the barrel for rankings, but I've got them here. And I've got a feeling that this could get a little bit spicy. I don't know. We'll see. Again, not to get political. So we're avoiding the political talk here, and we're going just, like I said, it's spurred from politics, assuming people's voting, assuming people's thoughts and feelings on the world. And it just made me think, what are some of the worst assumptions one could make? Okay. 601-706-9771 to chat. Addison, what's up, dog? So let's just get into it. All right. 5 worst assumptions rankings. Okay. At 5, I've got the position, as in assuming the position, which could mean a number of things. Okay. It could mean a number of things. Yes, assuming if someone is pregnant, probably could have gone here. So I ran out after 4, I'm going to be honest, and I thought, what do we say assuming for? Assuming the position. What does this mean, you might ask? And I don't know. I'm really still at a loss for what my brain was doing with that one. But, here we are. That's what this big brain cooked up about 10 minutes ago. So assuming the position is at 5. All right. At 4, and this is one that I think we can all relate to, and that is assuming the price of parking. Now, it's a racket, parking. At a sporting event, at a concert, assuming your team will beat Vandy, has bit some people in the arse this year, without a doubt. But assuming the price of parking at an event is literally just guessing. It's a guessing game. And why don't they take cards? They got to take cash. They got to take cash. They got to take cash every time. You're hitting the ATM up. You're like, I guess we'll pull out 40. Or I guess, surely it's not more than 10. Right? I guess we'll grab a 20 out of the ATM. No one uses cash anymore. So then you show up with 40. It costs 20. You're left with 20 just hard bills in your wallet. What are you going to use that on? You know what I mean? As someone who never has cash on them, that $20 is now rendered useless for me. Okay? So that's number 4. Price of parking. Or really the price of anything, right? You show up, you say, you know what? I'll get a little nice here at the fast cash. I won't order the chicken tenders. What's the top sirloin looking like? And they want $35 for the worst cut of meat. You assumed it'd be in the 20s. Tough assumption. The price of protein shakes. God, what a racket, protein shakes. We were at Costco the other day. 18 Fairlifes. Send me straight to the pits of hell in my stomach region. 33 bones for an 18-pack of those guys. 33 bones. And they look you dead in the face when they sell you that. They want you to feel that at Costco. But yeah, assuming the price of anything can get you in big trouble, am I right, folks? Not a lot of chatter on this one. This is going over like a lead balloon right now. This is going over like a lead balloon. The meat is all the way cooked at 3. Assuming the birthday card your grandmother sent you has money in it at age 29, yes. When you open it and you're like, oh, and nothing falls out. What a feeling. What a feeling. All the eyes are on you. Parents are looking at you like, assuming the wedding would have an open bar. Another great assumption. God. We tried. We tried on this list. But the meat is cooked all the way. So your boy thought about chefing this week, okay? Again, another Costco callback. Bought a pack of steaks at Costco. I said, you know what? I don't want to do the whole grill thing this week. My grill's all nasty. It fires. It's a long story. Grill's in despair right now. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do what the restaurants do. I'm gonna get a pan out. I'm going to sear it, and I'm going to baste it in some butter. The steak came out not raw, not rare. It wasn't rare. It was unheard of. It was a never seen before temperature of meat. It was fleshy. It was, it was brutal. Chicken, brutal. Chicken is an absolute roulette game. Assuming the wedding went, yes. Assuming this top 5 would be a banger. Tough. Assuming Cam was going to make a good top 5. Brutal. Chicken is always a gamble. Thank you, Reed. Thanks for leading it in. Assuming your alarm is already set on your phone for the morning right before you fall asleep, yes. Or if you got a janky phone that you got to get the cord right in the G spot for it to charge, and you set it down, you try to get it perfect. She's not charging. She dies on you overnight. Assuming the card reader at the gas pump is going to work, yes. Full gas station, only one side open. You pull up, and there's a clear bag on the pump. What a brutal realization and a brutal assumption. Good one, Jake. Talked about shrimp today. So hard to cook. It is. God, do those guys like to get overcooked. Just a rubbery shrimp. You thought you did your due dilly. You're trying to avoid the laxative of the sea. You cook it all the way through, and it just comes out like a rubber band, those shrimp. But yeah, the meat is all the way cooked. Chicken, God. You ever cut into a piece of chicken, and it's just right at you, son? Brutal. But yeah, this steak I cooked was, like I said, it wasn't rare. It was never before seen. Assuming one ghost wipe is enough, yeah, now that is certainly a thing. Yeah. One for safety. Sometimes you can get, I've been, if you're pretty regular, you're like, you know what, I'm good. Gas station TP, we're gonna make it. It just turns into a magic marker situation, Try biting into it. We talking about shrimp? I don't know anymore, Reed. At 2. Okay. At 2. Now we're getting some chatter. At 2, I've got when you're liquid, whether it be coffee, whether it be a soup, maybe some miso or clear soup. I'm not a miso guy, but a clear soup from the hibachi, maybe a nice bisque, but coffee, really, if we're talking about your everyday man's man. You're liquid. You assume you're there. You've waited 10 minutes. You don't see the steam. You go for your first sip. Mouth cancer. Ruins your whole day. Maybe even your whole week. Roof of your mouth finished. Tongue, forget about it. Tongue's gone. Forget about your tongue for a while. You're not getting it back. Taste buds, see you later. You assume that your coffee is ready to go. No blows. No windmills. And you're in trouble. Bad assumption to make. And then 601-706-9771. Somebody save me. Somebody save me from this. This is it's a tough. This is a tough one. Yes, Kimberly, your iced latte would not do that to you. Some of us prefer to drink coffee the real way. Number one, I think an undisputed number one, just a fart. Assuming that it's just a fart. No blows pause, yes. Assuming that can lead to an all-out disaster. Not proud of it. Was at work the other day. Now, story's not going where you think, but there was a close call. Donuts brought into the office. You can never be sure what a donut's going to do to you. Some days unaffected. Other days, you might as well drink a milkshake for breakfast, as Luke does. Don't try number one in waiters. Yeah, that would be stuffy. And that would make for, depending on what time that happens for you, you could be having a bad day in the duck blind with your butts. Don't try to. Yeah, don't even try it ever, really. But just in general, a tough one to assume on. Assuming the parlay is gonna hit, don't we always? And doesn't it never hit? What's going on with parlays? I think big parlay is what RFK needs to take down in this new regime. Yeah, this is the list. Okay, look, we're gonna come back better and stronger. 601-706-9771 if you have some bad assumptions that you draw at times. Well, yeah, this is the list. Assume the position was not a strong five. But I think I rounded out the list at just a fart pretty well. I think the hot liquid comes at us all at times. The glaze on donuts is an intestinal lubricant. Yes, it is. Just straight up castrol. Straight through you. I guess we're done with the rankings. I don't know. What do you guys think? Bad rankings? Good rankings? I tried to do anything other than food this go around. We got back to flatulence, which we had a, worst 5 foods to eat before a plane ride a few weeks back. So, we always end up back there on this show. Even Mahomes has a bad game every now and then. Thanks, Tan. I appreciate it. Bing bong, bing bong, bing. Let's answer it. I think I know who this is. Give it to me. Give it.
To accept.
Jack.
Cameron,
There he is.
how we doing?
What's up, brother?
Not too much. Just finished up a little table 100 din.
Oh, wow.
What's the category today?
Must be nice. Are you not watching?
Allegedly. I literally just got in the car.
All right.
Give me the spill.
So today we've got the worst 5 assumptions.
Okay.
Top 5 worst assumptions. At 1, I have just a fart.
I like that.
That's got to be an undisputed number 1.
Yeah.
And I'm going to warn you, this is getting not much traction. I'm getting roasted for this list. So just be prepared. Okay. At 2, I've got when your hot liquid is not too hot to drink. So when you assume that it's not going to burn your mouth.
I feel like you're just kind of a little bitch, for lack of a better
Oh,
term.
wow.
Right? Just man up and take
Family
it.
show. This is a family program. At 3,
Sorry.
I've got the meat is all the way cooked.
I feel like if you're a cook, that's applicable. I like that.
At 4, the price of parking.
Price of park, that's just a little out there, in my opinion.
5.
That's a little out there.
I've got assuming the position. whatever position that may be.
Oh, my.
Well, it's a kid show, like I said. But yes.
Yeah, kid show, right? Kid show. But you made the list on a kid show, huh?
Hey, pause. I don't know. I'm in trouble. This one is contentious at best. I got Cam, assuming Cam would be 5, everyone else's worst position. So that hurt the psyche. Jack, where are you? Oh, there you are.
Sorry. I got to say, number one, all classic, right? Can't beat that.
Yeah.
I think to send you some after show that you should listen to.
Okay.
In relevance to number one.
Okay.
I got to say, a real cold take is the parking price, right?
I mean, it's tough because it's always cash. You got to pull out some from the ATM, you know? You got to...
That just sounds like you're not planning ahead.
Well, how are you to know?
Well, you should know where you're going. You should know your place. You should know your people.
Well, it varies.
You should know your family.
It varies upon event. It varies upon, it's like a bar down that week.
You got to be prepared.
Well, that's my thing. You come over, then you're walking around cash. Who wants that?
Well, Mr. Mike, Cashin, that's no problem.
I didn't need a table 100 tonight.
Allegedly.
No, allegedly with a table 100. So.
Well, sometimes things happen, right?
Yeah, no, it's fair. My fives. That's good.
And we hate that for the program.
Yeah, brutal.
Something I wanted to talk about, Cam.
Yeah.
The Rebs.
Mm-hmm.
The Rebs. We're there this weekend.
Going?
Oh, we're there.
I like that. What do you think's going to happen in the game?
Rebs by a million, obviously.
Rebs.
No, in all seriousness, I think it'll be a very close game. Depends how Georgia plays, right? I mean, they're on this road streak.
Yeah.
They haven't been looking too hot. Carson Beck sucks, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
6 picks in 2 games with 2 W's. That's insane. Imagine you throw 3 INTs against Texas and you still win. How hard are you getting bailed out?
I think that's something that should worry you, though, right? If they're winning while he's throwing 3 picks, what if he throws 0 picks? They might be elite.
That's true. But our D has looked very solid this year.
The defensive line
In all
looks
things
good.
considered.
Have they faced a offensive line that is as good as Georgia's? I don't know. I also don't even really know if Georgia has that fantastic of an offensive line. I would assume they do, but I also don't know.
I don't think they do. I mean, look how they got manhandled by Kentucky.
Yeah. That's fair. What did Ole Miss's defensive line do against Kentucky? Can we draw it back? I don't remember really. Kentucky stinks on offense, but
I may or may not have forgotten that moment as well. However, right, we put an absolute beat down on South Carolina and Arkansas, and guess who had a real tough time with South Carolina?
Yeah. I mean, they're all fair points. My thing with Georgia, and I do think Ole Miss stands a great chance to win that game. Don't get me wrong. The thing with Georgia is it just seems they play best when the lights are the brightest.
Yeah, it's an afternoon game. We didn't even get the night slot because we got gypped out of it by
Well,
Alabama and LSU.
The 2:30 slot is prime time for SEC, though.
I don't know. There's nothing like a night grove. What can I say?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're gonna have your beverages. You're gonna have fun. The Grove will be absolutely crazy before that game.
It will be. It's gonna be a muddy grove too. It's gonna be raining.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Imagine if they win though. The Grove afterwards
the
will
mudslides
be
are going
insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm a hater of field storming. I think it is indicative of fan bases that just have never been there before. Do you think Ole Miss storms if they beat Georgia? I would hope not.
They do. I bet they do.
You think
And
they
it
do?
pains me.
It's a
It pains
bad
me to say
look. It's just a bad look.
it is a bad look, right? But that's what all the donors are for, right? They're paying that fine.
Yeah, it's not even the fine that bothers me. It's just I don't know. It's the
class.
principle. It's the principle.
Yeah.
Now, when Ole Miss beat Bama in 2014, I understood that. That was
was
warranted.
unprecedented.
When Vandy beat Bama this year, super warranted. But like when Colorado beat an unranked Baylor in overtime and they stormed the field, just a little insane.
Yeah.
I think it's getting a little crazy. I would hope that Ole Miss, with the aspirations they came into at the beginning of the year, would accept, hey, we
Top
just
10
beat
team.
Georgia. You know, we're supposed to be here. Let's not storm the field. But I have a strong suspicion if they do beat them, they'll storm. And I don't know. I'm not a fan. I might just be an old crotchety hater, but I don't know.
No, I'm with you on that. As a diehard, I'm with you on that. You got to act like you've been there, right? If you want to be an elite program, act like it.
Yeah, I almost stormed the field last week when State beat UMass. So.
That's an elite win, if I do say so myself.
Hey, some are saying big if true.
Allegedly.
Yeah, big if true. So, all right, Jack, I appreciate it. Go Rebs. I don't really know. The SEC is just a crazy thing this year, and I don't really know what to make of any of these teams. You know, so.
Last thing.
Yeah.
I know you want to get me off the air, but I'm your best guest.
Yeah, it's
sorry,
true.
everybody.
It's true. He's a good guest.
I was sitting in B-dubs last night, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the ESPN filler stuff they put on the air, right? And they're predicting the CFP, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing Boise State on there. I'm seeing all these jokes. Like, you're telling me a 7-2 Ole Miss. I mean, let's not even talk about Ole Miss. I don't care about Ole Miss in this sense, right? Let's talk about some of these teams that are like 7-1, 8-1, 7-2, right? That are probably better than a Boise State, but Boise State's undefeated. So they, how does the committee play that, right? Like last year, Florida State got ousted, right? Like, are they going to take that same thought process?
Well, they've got to put a group of 5 in.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be your.
Who do you think it's
that's
gonna be?
always going to be your 5 seed. Is a group of 5. I mean, right now it's going to be Boise State, right? But it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
It could be any team that is not as good as a lot of other teams, right? But they have to get in by the rules, so they've got to put them in. So whether they're going to get destroyed or not, they still have to put them in. So the 12th team in the rankings is never going to make it into the college football playoff, pretty much, right? Unless it's a thing like Florida State where they just decide their merit, their quarterback got hurt, whatever. So, I mean, I get the argument, and if I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm like, if I lose to Georgia, but I'm still, I lost to 3 good teams. Well, Kentucky's not a good team. I lost to 2 good teams, one on the road.
LSU's not a good team either. But
they're not. They're going to lose this weekend pretty bad. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be the same drama we've had the last, since it started. Regardless, it'll just be more teams feeling like they got snubbed now because there's more of an opportunity. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Right.
I think they can only let 4 SEC teams in. I don't think they ever let more than 4 in. So, you're looking at Texas, Georgia, Bama, Tennessee, and, I don't know if Ole Miss gets past that with the Kentucky loss, regardless of what they do this weekend.
You're telling me if we win on Saturday, we don't make the playoff?
I don't know. I mean, you're not going to play for the SEC championship either way.
No, but I feel like that warrants a.
Because you got to look at it like this, right? So if Texas wins out, they'll be in the SEC championship, and they will play. Right now, they would play Tennessee or A&M, right?
Ugh.
So I mean, whoever loses the SEC championship's probably in. Obviously, whoever wins is in. So that will leave. So the worst case scenario for Ole Miss is if A&M only loses to Texas, and then I'm pretty sure they would have tiebreaker and get into the SEC championship. They would have to get skull drug, I think, in the SEC championship not to make it at that point. But I don't know for sure. I mean, because Bama bias is still there. Georgia bias is there. If Tennessee,
Right.
Tennessee's going to roll.
We're never going to have the buy-in of the committee, right? We're always the black sheep.
Right. Yeah, you're not going to. Yeah, it's just not. They're going to go with Tennessee, Georgia, Bama, Texas over any other schools. And if A&M gets thrown in the mix, that's worst case scenario for Ole Miss. Now, if Ole Miss were to beat Georgia this week and then Tennessee beat Georgia next week, that would be a different story, right? Or if my dogs go into Knoxville this weekend, trap game, beat Tennessee, now that would be interesting.
I would love that.
That would be interesting.
I would love that. Absolutely love that.
But it's just Ole Miss losing to Kentucky is the biggest failure in Lane Kiffin's career so far.
Yeah, it was so brutal, man.
I mean, it's the worst case scenario, really, for this year.
Right,
Other than losing the Egg Bowl, it would be worst case scenario. Which I'm not
100%.
suggesting will happen, but I'm just saying that was the one thing that could not happen, you know.
And it did.
Yeah. So.
Well, what's interesting to me is you're saying 4 teams CFP out of the SEC, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like that's too low. Who else deserves to be there?
So you've got 4 automatic bids, right? You've got the winner of the SEC, winner of the ACC, winner of the Big Ten, and winner of the Big 12. So there's 4 gone, right? Then you've got the Power 5, so there's 5 gone. So that leaves you with 7. So whoever loses Big Ten championship will probably get in. Whoever loses SEC championship will probably get in. So that gets you down to 5. All right. So then you've got to look at you've got 2 SEC teams and 2 Big Ten teams in. You know,
I don't think the Big Ten teams deserve to be there. Penn State sucks. James Franklin sucks. And
well,
this is coming from a Penn State fan, right? Both my parents went there, right?
Indiana's undefeated. So Oregon and Oregon and Ohio State will get in. Indiana's one loss will be to Ohio State, so they'll probably get in. So there's 3 Big Ten. You know, I'm just saying it dwindles down. So if Tennessee finishes with 2 losses and everyone glazes their starting quarterback like they like to do, then they're going to get in.
They do, yeah.
You know what I mean? If Bama can win out, which they will, I'm pretty sure they will. You know, they're going to get in because they're Bama. So, you know, I mean, like I said, the Kentucky loss is pretty much unforgivable. They're the second worst team in the SEC. I think the committee cares way more about who you lose to than who you win to, who you beat. I think that I really do. I think they care more about that than who you beat in some cases. Because I think they want the most competitive games, right? Obviously, they can't do anything about the 5 seed because that team is always going to get ran through. And then, you know, you've got an undefeated Army who would get in as an independent if they stay undefeated.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm a Notre Dame hater, so I hate that they're probably going to get a bid, which is stupid.
Right. So, yeah, it just narrows it, right? I think SEC and Big Ten are lucky if either of them have 4 teams, but it will definitely not be both that have 4 teams in, you know? So, I think Penn State sucks too. I think that, you know, the winner of the Big 12 is going to be – let's go, Becca. Good for you for signing in.
Let's go, Becca.
You know, I just think – I think there's a lot of doomsday scenarios for Ole Miss, even if they win out. I think the committee will snub them regardless at this point. But I may be wrong. I don't know.
No, I'm with you on that. I hate that there's a fact there's a world where we could be Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana, Penn State, like a Boise State, Notre Dame, Army, and only have 4 SEC teams when they're, in my opinion, clearly better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Ole Miss would beat, you know, they'd probably beat Indiana. They would. I don't think Oregon and Ohio State we can really say at this point. You know, they're going to beat Boise State, you know, or, you know, Army could sneak up on anybody just because they're the weirdest team ever. But it's just, you know, it's just one of those things where there's always going to be this drama with it, regardless of how many teams they let in. Unless they turn it into the NCAA basketball tournament and everybody just plays a 7-game conference schedule and then they decide the playoff, it's always going to be this way, So,
and that's true. I hate it because the SEC is so competitive this year, right? And the East-West is gone, and so everybody's playing everybody and beating everybody, right? And, like, you're telling me Notre Dame, like, who are they playing that's somewhat competitive? Nobody.
Well, they beat A&M, which A&M is second in the SEC right now. I know that A&M's not all that good, and that will be seen against Texas probably, but A&M's going to finish with 2 losses,
Right,
so,
but who else has A&M played? So they played LSU.
Nobody. I mean, they beat Florida and they beat LSU.
Right.
They beat State.
Right.
I can't remember if they have any other. They beat Arkansas. So nobody of real significance other than LSU, which I don't think LSU's all that good either. So I don't know. I think, yes, you'd like, if you're an Ole Miss fan, of course you want to see them get a shot in it. But like I said, man, that Kentucky loss. I mean, Kentucky's bad. Kentucky's really bad. So losing.
But they do have the one, I guess, glimmer of hope, right? Is Kentucky has the close loss against Georgia, right? They look very competitive.
I think the fact they lost at home, Ole Miss, I think that's glaring. But
that is brutal.
But I don't know. I mean, we're all gonna find out this year, right? What they're gonna do with it. But if I had to guess, Texas, Georgia, Bama, and Tennessee are the 4 that would have the best shot at getting in. So, but hey,
yeah, and I'm totally with you on that.
But if Georgia loses to Ole Miss and Tennessee, Georgia's out. I mean, you can't put them in.
Yeah, and I mean Carson Beck, Mr. Interception.
Yeah, it's true.
Dude looks like he's lost on the field, man.
It's true. Yeah. Oh, I forgot A&M lost to South Carolina last week. Yeah, so A&M's probably out of it. So at least that's not going to be a factor. But I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. But Ole Miss has got to take care of Georgia this weekend. If that doesn't happen, then they're cooked either way. So.
Oh yeah, the hopes are gone. Like I'm living on a prayer on this one.
Well, have fun. Good luck. We'll see what the Rebs do.
Rebs by a million, Cameron.
All right, brother.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
So, yeah, I mean, I know I'm a homer for the other team, but it's just a tough road when you lose to Kentucky, and Kentucky's 1-6 in the conference, I think. So, but that is a good point, Tam, that A&M's out of it basically. Yeah, Flagway plays in the swamp against Ole Miss. That's going to be a tougher game. The Ole Miss delusion is definitely, look, you start the season with those kind of aspirations, it's tough to let go, especially when you play well at times, right? I mean, played really well against Arkansas. Trying to think of another performance, outside of their first 4 games where they played Jim's Needle Point University. I don't remember them having like a crazy good performance other than Arkansas, and then I guess South Carolina, but South Carolina's been so up and down. But hey, I don't know. If they beat Georgia, obviously it's the road is open for them, but I don't know. We'll see after this weekend. And that brings me to my college picks. Thanks, everyone, for being here. What a show we're having today. 601-706-9771 to talk ball, talk money as we cash this weekend on college football and the NFL. I've got Iowa tomorrow night, -5 against UCLA. UCLA stinks. They burned me on the Rutgers pick. That feels like 3 months ago at this point. But Iowa has been playing some ball this year and can actually score. They are having to travel to Cali, but I like them at -5. I like the Hawkeyes at -5. I think that with them playing some better offense, UCLA cannot stop anybody. And Iowa's defense is always solid. So give me the Iowa Hawkeyes. I've stayed away from them all year just because I never know what to make of Iowa. But I'm going to ride with them this time and see what we can do with the Hawkeyes tomorrow night. I've got Clemson, and boy, does it hurt my soul to bet on Dabo. But, the tough loss to Louisville last week. I think Louisville at home was always dangerous. I thought that was always going to be one that, we didn't really know what Clemson team was going to show up and what Louisville team was going to show up. The Louisville team that had that dog in them showed up in that one. And I think Clemson revenge game this week against Virginia Tech, who is awful, just terrible. I think 6.5. They say the atmosphere at Virginia Tech is crazy. Maybe so. It's 11, or is it 11, or is it 2? It's a 2:30 kick. I like Clemson in that one with the touchdown. Calling in the show 601-706-9771 if you have some winners for your boy. I really need them. I desperately need them. Please send me your winners. I flirted with the Georgia Tech Miami -11. Georgia Tech's quarterback might not play, and they've been really bad without him, so not going to touch it. I flirted with Florida and Texas at 21.5, but Florida is going to start the kid from Yale probably. I don't think that's a good one to go with. But I do have the Bulldogs. I do have the Georgia Bulldogs at -2.5. I just think they turn it on in these big games. They could play bad all year. We've seen it the last 3 seasons where we just don't believe in Georgia. They keep just shitting the bed every week with bad performance after bad performance, and then they get in a big game and they blow people out. I think that Ole Miss has what it takes to win the game. I think if they jumped up on them early, which Bama jumped up on them early and they almost came back and beat them. But I think, if Ole Miss can jump on them, they'd stand a chance in it. And really, they stand a chance if it's close throughout. But it just seems like Georgia plays better in these games. If it rains, I'd probably lean Georgia if it rains all day, just because they're going to keep the ball on the ground. The pass rush is really good for Ole Miss, but I'm not sure if they'd be able to stop the run all day. Now, early on, I could definitely see it, but the offense for Ole Miss is so clicky. It's like against Arkansas, obviously it was phenomenal, but in a lot of games this year, you see third down drops. You see them just getting off the field early. And if that's the Ole Miss team that comes out, I think Georgia probably wins by a couple scores. If Ole Miss executes like they did last week and like they're able to, they would obviously, probably take it down to the wire and win the game. I don't think this is going to be a blowout either side. I think Vegas wants us to hammer Ole Miss at +2.5. And I think they also want us to hammer Georgia at 2.5. I think the 2.5 line is the weirdest line they could put for this one. I feel like if they knew how to call it, they would have made Ole Miss a favorite if they really felt Georgia could win this game. For sure. I think Ole Miss would have been -1. The fact that Georgia's favored at 2.5 makes me wonder if they feel like Ole Miss has found it, and they might have. I mean, obviously, like I said, they look good against Arkansas, but in these big games, Georgia turns it on, and at times, not every big game, Ole Miss has won some big games, but at times, Ole Miss doesn't. It's not always there in these big games. It goes back to, get your popcorn ready a couple years ago with with the Bama game. It just sometimes it's not there. So, playing out different scenarios, like Alex said, anything is possible with it. But if the scenario rolls out that Georgia brings the big game energy and the big game plan, and Ole Miss comes out with if they're conservative in any way, I think they lose. And if Beck doesn't turn the ball over, you've got to think that Georgia plays at a super high level, because that's really been where they've kind of struggled, is turn the ball over, defense bails them out, they end up winning these games, they rarely cover. I had Florida last week. So it's a toss-up to me. The 2.5, either you're picking Ole Miss or you're picking Georgia, because the 2.5, this isn't going to be, it'll be a field goal game or something like that. So, yeah, I like Georgia, though, at the 2.5. Georgia knows what this game means. Obviously, Ole Miss does as well. They've got to win this game to stay in contention. It just doesn't seem like that Ole Miss team is going to do what it takes to win it. I mean, I hate to say it because I do. I know we got some Ole Miss guys in here, but I don't know. Tough one to call. I've got Army minus 5.5 against North Texas because they cover every spread. And we're going to take it until they don't. So, give me Army. Minus 5.5. South Carolina, Vandy. The last 3 South Carolina games have gone over. Their offense has caught fire. Vandy coming in off a bye. I think it's off a bye. They played Auburn 2 weeks ago, right? So I think they're going to be fresh. I think it's going to be a little bit of a track meet. I think it'll be a track meet, kind of like Bama ended up being. And I like the over 46 in that one. South Carolina's defense has not been playing as well, but their offense has been. What's that guy's name? Rocky. He transferred from Arkansas. Guy is a dog. I really like the over in that game. Bama in Death Valley. I think that Nussmeier and the Tigers, they're just too inconsistent. I picked the Tigers against A&M because I believe their offense was that much better than A&M on the road. But for whatever reason, it seems like LSU's offense just is never going to get to where it's clicking on all cylinders. They commit so many penalties as well, LSU does. And Bama, obviously shut out Mizzou at home a couple weeks ago. They're coming off the bye. Big game for them as well, right? So I just think Bama -3, they might win by a couple scores. I really think they might win by a couple scores. Just the nature of this Bama team, it just seems like you got to play well at the end of the year. Bama always does. It's like the St. Louis Cardinals in the MLB. They always find a way to get into the playoff. I like Bama -3 with the LSU. I get the Death Valley thing. Have you guys given up on Kelly? I just don't. Kelly, there's something about him that seems hard to get behind with Kelly. And Nussmeier's good, but he makes all these crazy mistakes. The team doesn't seem super disciplined, which, I mean, how important that is, whatever. But I just think that LSU it just seems a little. It's not oiled. It's not the LSU machine we're used to. Although I think that Nussmeier is good, and I think he has a lot of arm talent, he makes these little mistakes here and there. He doesn't. I mean, you guys have good receivers. I forget the one kid's name that Ole Miss tried to murder. I forget his name, but I mean he's good. But it's something doesn't seem right with the LSU offense. He's not out on Kelly yet. If they lose this game by 3 scores, are you out on Kelly? Let me know, Hag. I don't know. Like the Death Valley effect, if he loses this game, we'll see. Yeah, the Death Valley effect doesn't seem – it's not scaring me in this one, and it usually does. It really does. But, they really, really struggled against Ole Miss in Death Valley in that night game earlier in the year. Ole Miss won that game for all intents and purposes, gave it up at the end, but and I think Ole Miss was just a better team than LSU, but they made their mistakes as well. I think you might see Bama come out like they're Bama, and I say this all the time with Bama. I picked them against South Carolina to cover that huge spread, and they won by like 2 points. I think I had Tennessee when they lost. Yeah, I had Tennessee in their game, which I won that one, but that one was a toss-up too. So yeah, I don't know. I think Bama at -3. I think they get it done. LSU's had a lot of close calls this year. South Carolina, Ole Miss. They still, if you lose at home at night by 3 scores, you can get on the flight with Dennis Allen. Yeah. Appropriate response. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe LSU does it. Like you said, Death Valley at home at night, it's different, but we'll see. We'll see. Mizzou +3. I've got Mizzou. I don't know if Brady Cook plays, but OU is just so bad offensively, so bad. Mizzou needs this win. Mizzou is sneaky 6-2, I believe. I may be wrong. Obviously, they were highly ranked at the beginning of the year. 6-2. They have 2 conference losses, right? They beat the wagon that is Vandy, but they lost to A&M big. They lost to Bama big. But Oklahoma, so far this year, has looked like one of the worst teams in the SEC. They squeaked it out against Auburn at home right before they played Bama. So, Drinkowitz says Mizzou will have hands full with surging Oklahoma. I don't buy Oklahoma. I really don't. I think that their offense can be flashy with I guess they're playing the other kid, Jackson, whatever. And maybe they prove me wrong here, but Mizzou as a home dog, I'm going to take Mizzou, and that's going to be your Lawn Dogs underdog of the week. Boy, are there leaves on the ground. God, those leaves are everywhere. You're going to need to call Lawn Dogs, and you're going to need to get them there ASAP. Their schedule is filling up. I'm positive. So give them a call, 601-573-0117, and get your yard taken care of. We all need to be taken care of this day and age. Let the Lawn Dogs take care of the outside of you while you focus on the inside of you. 601-573-0117. What an ad that was. And we move on to the NFL. Now, your boy has really, really lost his spark on the NFL. Started out pretty hot this year. There are a lot of bad teams in the NFL. A lot of bad teams, mine being one of the worst, admittedly. But just a lot of stuff in the NFL is just it's hard to know, who's going to show up each week. 601-706-9771. I need another caller. I got Jack. Me and Jack had a great chat, long chat. Give me one more caller, 601-706-9771 to call into the show. I've got, let's see here. I've got the Bengals covering against the Ravens tomorrow. The 6.5 is a bit odd. I wish it was 7.5. But the Ravens, as good as they look at times with Derrick Henry, with Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews has come on. Something about the Bengals needing wins always gets me convinced that they're going to play well. Something about it. Now, I don't know if it's just Joe Burrow, if it's the receiving core. Let's go, McCurley. Lawn Dogs. I don't know. Something about the Bengals team. I just feel like they want it more than the Ravens at this point. The Ravens are a wagon. Admittedly, they had a weird start to the season where they were kind of in the same spot as the Bengals, where they had to win games. But they're 6-3 now. The Steelers, I believe, are still winning the AFC North. So a big game for both teams here. I think that the Bengals, though, on a Thursday night, everybody knows the Thursday night games are weird. Some of them have been pretty solid games so far this year too. But I like the Bengals at plus 6.5. Maybe they don't win, but I think they cover, and I think they might hold the lead for a majority of the first half. I think the Ravens might come out slow. If the Bengals jump on them and they can't run Henry and they've got to air it out, you might see the Bengals run away with it. I'm not sure. That's what gambling is. We're not sure. 601-706-9771. Call into the show. I need one more. Just one. We can still talk college if you're out there. I don't know. Hadn't heard from Big Ticket today. Let's see. Yeah, it's all good. I got the Cards at minus a half point. Basically a pick 'em. I don't really understand the Card slander. They have covered in a lot of games this season. They're at home against the Jets. It's a pick 'em now. Is Kyler Murray's playing, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Jets stink. Am I crazy? I feel like the Jets stink. So, I mean, the Cardinals, who have been covering at home, they beat the 49ers on the road. Give me the Cardinals to cover that. Maybe I'm missing something. McBride has been a dog at tight end too. I think he's my tight end on both of my fantasy teams. Just a beast. I think he had like 15 rushing yards last week too. Dog. The Tits and the Chargers under 38. Gotta love a good 38. Gotta love a good under 38. The Titans are abysmal offensively. The Chargers are a defensive juggernaut, as we've seen with Harbaugh. And, Herbert, handsome man. Like the Pats plus 6.5 versus the Bears. I like it too. I just don't know what to make of the Pats. They're covering in a lot of games, but they are 2-7. Let's see what they did against like a comparable. So they lost to the Bengals, or they beat the Bengals 16-10. They lose to the Seahawks by 3. They get destroyed by the Jets somehow. Destroyed by the 49ers. Lost to the Dolphins by 5. Put up 21 against the Texans. Lost to the Jags. Beat the Jets second go around. Lost to the Titans 20-17. I don't know. The Pats might be bad. But they are covering some games. So, it's enticing anytime I see a 6.5. Giants, Panthers under 40.5. Yeah, it seems like the Panthers are done. And we all knew the Giants were cooked from day one. So very likely. I got Lions minus 3.5. For some reason, I don't feel good about this Lions pick. But they haven't proven me wrong in any time I've picked them this year. I actually faded them last week against the Packers, and they destroyed the Packers. Something about them going on the road to Houston on Sunday night. It's just kind of odd to me. It doesn't seem like, I don't know, something's fishy. 47-9 against the Cowboys. They squeak by the Vikings. They dominate the Titans. They beat the Packers by 10. Something about the 3.5 is fishy. But I don't know what else to do other than to ride the Super Bowl champions, which are the Lions. So give me the Lions minus 3.5. Again, I don't know what it is. I think Dan's going to have the boys going still. But the Texans, Lions are a cover machine this year. Yeah, it's true. The Texans are, I think they've been giving up like the least amount of yards to tight ends this year. So Laporta's probably not going to do much. Going to have to lean heavily on Gibbs and Ahmad Ra St. Brown, who is like hit or miss. I don't. Sometimes he lights it up. Other times you don't know if he's playing. Any college basketball early hot takes? Let's look at college basketball. McCurley, thanks for asking. I think Ole Miss being ranked is interesting. I don't know who all they're returning. They were a decent team last year, but I don't know. I didn't know what to make of that. Obviously, UConn is a wagon. Auburn with Bruce Pearl is going to be good. Arkansas, Indiana, always right. But I think LSU might have a decent team this year. I think State's going to be decent, but it's a brand new team. They're returning 2 guys like Cam Matthews and Hubbard are really your only 2 guys returning. So hard to know what to make of that. But I think the SEC is going to be really strong this year in basketball, like they were last year. Big Ten's going to have some solid run. I even think I'm trying to think of a real just sleeper hot take. Houston doesn't have it without Nico. That's true, man. Nico, who knew he was such an impact guy? But trying to look and see if there's a hot take out there. I think Memphis in the AAC is going to be pretty darn good. State plays them, I believe. Obviously, Duke. Clemson was good last year. Beat Duke at home. North Carolina's decent. Pittsburgh, solid program. Let's go with Kansas number 1 right now. Big 12 is pretty jacked up right now. Baylor got destroyed by Gonzaga the other night, so Gonzaga is going to be pretty solid. Prediction is for the winner of the basketball tournament. Let's all mark it down today if you want to go make your future. I think, gosh, there are a lot of college basketball teams. Holy God. I think Auburn gets it done this year. I think they get it done this year. Bruce Pearl nearing the end of his career. Just a hell of a recruiter. Maybe not the best guy, but all our faith is in Hubbard. Yeah, the big men looked pretty bad the other night, McCurley. I concur. Yeah, the big men didn't look like a lot of offensive promise from the big men, and they really weren't playing all that much defense. We were getting out-rebounded at times by West Georgia in their first Division I game. So, yeah. But first game of the year, room for improvement. State's going to be scrappy. But yeah, I think Auburn might get it done this year. They've been right on the cusp the last few. Finishing with the NFL, I got Rams -1 at home. I don't know why. But that's it. No more callers. If you want to call in, I got like 2 more minutes left in the tank. 601-706-9771 to call into the show. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you haven't already, like the video. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Go ahead and subscribe. And yeah. Big games this week in college. Decent schedule in the NFL. I think Thursday night game will be good. Lions-Texans Sunday night will be good. I didn't even check who Monday night was. Let's see here. I want John Merritt to get on here and give me some hockey picks one day. He did that one time. It almost hit. I did a whole parlay with him. But it didn't hit. Go figure. If I would have stayed away, John would have been a $5 in the air because he bets like 50 cents per game. Let's see. What's the Monday Night Football game? For all my footy fans out there, West Ham takes on Everton this weekend in the relegation bowl, so that'll be fun to watch. Let's see. I don't know if there's any footy fans out there. I think Roark left. You the man. Let's cash. Let's go, McCurley. Have a good weekend, brother. Monday Night Football is Miami and the Rams. Okay, that's going to be a stinker, but yeah, I got the Rams. All right, fam. We'll see you next week. Let's cash.